The winner bracket final, everybody. Team Disciple against Team Dynouh. Another best of 5 series here at the Captain's Clash. And over on the left side, well, we get Alarak again. Disciple playing Alarak with Scorch on Brightwing. Ubi's playing Dehaka. We got Nagrom on the account Snaps playing ETC. And Morenas on Gul'dan. Over on the right side, Team Dynouh with Cure playing Tychus, hailing from North America, of course. We got Copenhagen on Blaze. Dynouh, the captain, is playing Hanzo. Captain Rex on Anduin, and Bad Benny up at the front line, rocking Diablo in game number 1 of the best of 5 series. So let's get this show on the road. And I already love the build here. We have for Alarak the Extended Lightning on level 1. I'm always for the little mini stack games. So yeah, let's get this one started. Quick note too, for everybody that's wondering why exactly we don't have a draft in the game. Because, I mean, I explained this here just the other day that there was an issue with my new PC. I had to send it in. Turns out the CPU was actually defective and had to be switched out. But because of that, some games in the tournament, in the playoffs specifically, I was only able to cast on my old setup, which, yeah, didn't really allow me to get everything done here. There were a couple of issues with the PC too, so me switching the setup, you know, last notice and trying to figure everything out on the fly was a bit of a problem on one of the days. So this series I wasn't able to cast live, so I'm casting it now from replays to check it out for everyone here. That's why we don't have a draft. Unfortunately, replays don't save draft information, but let's see which team is able to move on here. The winner obviously makes it into the grand final, which will be a best of 7 through the winner's bracket, which gives them a couple of small advantages like map choice, first pick, first ban, and so on and so forth. The loser isn't out yet. You can still make your way through the lower bracket if this one turns out to be a little bit too tough for you. Down at the bottom of the map, Bad Benny already getting in position here. We have teams aiming for the mercenary camps at this point. Already Diablo, just like waiting around the wall here on Inferno Shrines. And the blue team is honestly dominating that rotation completely. They're going for a triple front line with the draft that they're running here. If you compare to what Team Dynouh is using, the red team is obviously using two damage dealers from far from range, and therefore has to be a little bit careful how they engage into these fights. It's quite a bit of control that way. Oh, that's gonna be a kill. Dynouh, yes, Hanzo's down. First blood. Dynouh eliminated. Nicely done by Team Disciple. Now, as I was just about to say, the red team needs to be very careful which fights they're really going to take, because there's a lot of CC up at the front line. We have Gul'dan for the major amount of damage that we're going to get from the blue team, but of course Alarak himself can also pack an absolute punch if he is able to stack specifically his sadism and his level 4 talent accordingly. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Right now, Team Dynouh is slow playing this slightly, which also results in the wall at the bottom of the map already being taken out. They have Tychus though, so the transformation for the objective is definitely a thing that we're going to get to see, starting most likely with the second Punisher. The first one now down at the bottom of the map. I mean, I would assume that Team Disciple has an edge on this one. There's a lot of teams that run with Tychus that will also delay the aggression on the objective until they have level 10 abilities. Copenhagen at the top now taking the camp. We're seeing the same, of course, from their opponents, from Team Disciple, as everybody is starting to get ready for Punisher number 1 in this game. And level 7 should also soon kick in. Now, of course, the blue team has a bit of an advantage here, running Dehaka, who can easily then jump down to the bottom of the map if need be. And the red team is poking, but they're a bit late to the party already. We have a lead of 16-17 minion stacks for the blue team, as Team Dynouh is slowly making their approach here. But it's going to be really tough for them to have a big impact. Now, Alarak misses the combo on this one, but the lead that they've already established is pretty massive. And now there's an early level 7 talent for the blue team on top of that as well. So definitely the lead as we're heading into the first objective, the late phase of it. And while Team Dynouh has been able to grab at least a few minion stacks, it's definitely not enough to get them the first Punisher. There's a bit of an issue considering that the wall at the bottom of the map has already been eliminated. We're talking Mortar Punisher here, but with some decent pressure from Gul'dan in particular, taking down those minion waves, we'll most likely see that fort fall. Now, everybody is currently here. Brightwing will have to help out, so will Dehaka, Already, the Haka is making his way down. The Punisher is dishing out the damage and will soon proc another stun. But we have Blaze in trouble. Gets hit by the combo. Copenhagen tries to escape and gets eliminated. They're focusing on Diablo shortly after. Even Morenas is chipping in a bit more after Khaldor was already nearly dead. But somehow Benny made it out, tapped the fountain again. I mean, damn, he's actually still alive, which is insane. I suppose he's going to fall eventually, but he survived way longer than I expected him to. Now we have the fort at the bottom of the map destroyed. Punisher will still dish out a bit of damage to the wall. But that's a pretty solid first objective for Team Disciple. And as a result, with the 3 kills to 0, we now have the blue team walk away with a 1.5 level lead over the opponent's team. Also for Khaldor was quite nice because he's now 28 stacks and is level 1, so he's going to complete this very, very soon. Had a lot of targets in that last battle where he could stack more. And Alarak, he's getting there. Disciple is currently on 9 stacks on level 4. He's going to try and get himself a few more with all of the brawls that are coming out here. The level 10 abilities for the blue team should also allow them now to be a bit more aggressive. There's an entire level gap. The question is always, what are you really going to push for? In this case, it seems like they're going to go for camps first. There's still 2 Khazra camps up that they're both trying to get, with Brightwing and Alarak moving down to the bottom of the map to try and lock this one in. ETC hasn't made a choice yet. Now, there's a fair amount of interrupts for Team Dynouh when it comes to mosh pits. But Stage Dive, with you already running Dehaka and Brightwing, isn't really needed. And it would have honestly surprised me if they would have gone for it. But mosh pit gets locked in, and now with the camp, they're starting to push in the middle. Team Dynouh is soon going to pick up their own level 10 ability, but the fact of the matter is that they just don't have it yet. So they will suffer some damage. They're not going to lose the fort though. But the grenade build has been continued. For Tychus, Benny taking a bit more damage. Always sitting here at the side. They don't want to lose a hero right now, so they're playing this very, very slow and passive. And now that they have their own heroics, they can finally start making some moves here. And also prepare, of course, for the next fight. The inexperience is still there, though. And this might give Team Disciple level 13 when we're talking about the second objective. Because the Haka, if need be, can still sit at the side a bit longer and get another wave or 2. Already the drag, here comes the arrow, and it misses completely. Diablo though, he's in trouble. Mosh pit interrupted, and Diablo somehow makes it into the late stage of the fight. They're able to get a kill on ETC as Diablo finally falls, but yeah, it is stacks and will be back. Khaldor on the other hand and Brightwing, well, not so much. Those two are already dead and gone. And that was a very, very solid double kill now from the red team. Honestly, I mean, this was perfect for them. This is exactly the way that you get back into the game here. And a quick reminder, this is of course the opening map where you want to start taking the lead in the series. We have 14 stacks for Alarak now. 7 minutes in right now, so on the second objective he's going to try and stack this further, but it's really going to be something that in the late game might have a huge impact. Sadism sitting at 92, nothing really to write home about, but if you look at the damage output, Alarak is right now the second highest damage dealer on the blue team side. Now, Tychus with 17,000, still a bit ahead of him. And we have actually a lot of StarCraft characters in the game. It's actually kind of funny. Each team is currently running 2 StarCraft characters in this one. Benny now down at the bottom of the map. Yeah, the Haka is also still sitting tight here, and this is exactly what I talked about a bit earlier, that now they have level 13, so this actually dissuades Team Dynouh of making a play for the objective from the looks of it. Khaldor is left to his own devices there. We're now having the team rotate over slowly, but as they grab their own level 13, we have a massive advantage already for Team Disciple, as long as Nagrom doesn't get killed here, but ETC gets out. And to be completely honest with you, I thought they would be able to do a little bit more here. 20 stacks is definitely a lot, but I expected them to grab even more than that as we were headed for the objective. So this isn't quite over yet. Team Dynouh still has a chance to bring this one back. It's not going to be an easy feat, but it's definitely possible. Tychus is already popping Odin very, very quickly here. 15 stacks now for Disciple, obviously using this fight to get even more stacks. They go for Diablo again, who doesn't have his stacks. He's not completely stacked. If he is down, he's down for the full duration. But Hanzo with the arrow stun, and Khaldor nearly dies. Yeah, not too bad. So he still made it out. Still not a lot of stacks for Team Dynouh on the Shrine, and honestly at this point, with Odin already disappearing, it doesn't really seem like Team Dynouh is going to be able to make this happen, unless, of course, they're getting a kill soon. But we have now 31 stacks for Team Disciple, and this should be too much for them to handle. Here comes the barbecue. Horrify gets used, only hitting Blaze, but he gets hit hard. Saved by Anduin, so the Crybaby is able to pull Blaze out. 38, 39 stacks, Frozen Punishers in, and the red team would do well to now start to retreat. Or there's going to be some jumps procced, and I think we're going to get a double kill. Blaze is already gone. Here comes the jump from the Punisher, and it's the end of Benny. Diablo is down. Now, more than a level lead still for Team Disciple, and this will likely cost the red team their topside fort. I don't think they're going to even try to defend. Again, keep in mind, they're only with 3 on the map right now. Even in the middle of the map, we're having some damage here. And for example, when you look at the Hawkeye, gets the isolation through at the bottom of the map. ETC starting to slide into. Should have probably gone for that slide a bit sooner, though. So that was a bit unfortunate. I think they could have gotten that kill on Hanzo. Or at least could have pressured him a bit more. The fort at the top side has already been destroyed, but Khaldor wasn't satisfied with that. They moved in to drop the wall too, and honestly, even that keep is going to take some damage. It's going to be a massive amount, at least it shouldn't be, but there will be some damage dealt here, as in the middle another fort gets removed. Now, Alarak is sitting at 18 stacks. We have 98 for his sadism count. And when you're looking at the damage numbers, he has definitely started to improve this a bit, but still not able to move past Tychus or past Hanzo. Now, we might see that later, but for now they're quite happy getting that level 16 talent, which of course puts them again into a very good position on the map and makes sure that Team Dynouh is not getting too cheeky over here. They're not making any plays right now. It's just all about the mercenary camps that we still have up on the map. Khaldor taking another one, for example. Went full flame here on 13 and 16. With Tychus and his boys still waiting, but at the top of the map, they are trying to get a kill on their Haka. Now, Ubi gets the speed, is starting to move out, needs to be careful with Blaze, but that's not the only problem, because down at the bottom of the map, we all of a sudden have a play being made for Dynouh. And he's a bit low, but he's still alive, and the rest of the red team is now moving in. The arrow comes in, connects, slows him down slightly, Scorch has to get out, and does exactly that, and the blue team retreats. It could have gotten a bit dicey here for them. If they stay a second or two longer, I think that flank hits them hard, and they might even lose a few heroes in the process. As it stands, that bottom keep has taken a small amount of damage. The same is true for the one at the top. Both teams now on level 16, so finally a chance for Team Dynouh to go and make some plays. Yeah, jet propulsion, light bomb, horrify. I mean, everybody is just going for the big moves right now as the fight in the mid lane breaks out, and everyone's hoping for a quick and early kill. But the blue team is still 2 levels ahead, and this is massive for them. They might not hold that talent advantage any longer, but a 2-level gap is not all that easy to bridge. If Team Dynouh is able on the next objective to get a few kills, then they can still pull it off. But if they lose that next fight, then things are gonna become very, very difficult for the red team. They're running out of comeback opportunities. That much is definitely for sure. What they need is they need a good fight, and they need to get some kills. For example, also Alarak remove would really help them. That saves them low a little bit. ETC with the slide again. 27 stacks now for Alarak. Arrow comes out. Nicely done. The bunker. Absolutely perfect. The problem is that Anduin still dies. ETC with the mosh pit. And they're isolating, zoning them out. They go for the double. They go for the triple kill. And they are going for more. Diablo is being chased. Bad Benny's not the only one that they're trying to get. Cure gets attacked, and Tychus is down. Benny actually makes it out. So they didn't really chase him too hard. They were more interested in taking Tychus out. For Diablo, it's going to be more than a bit too difficult to try and facilitate a defense. Would have been much easier for Tychus to sit behind the gate and get some damage done. But as it stands right now, the blue team is pushing. The Haka is on the objective. So the pressure is just mounting up. And they have Storm Talents now too. So Team Disciple with a fantastic showing game number 1 so far. They're looking great here. Big damage on the keep in the middle. The Haka will get that Punisher for the team. And that Punisher, of course, moves through the mid lane. Now Tigers is going to be back in a couple of seconds. We have also more damage done at the top where the Mercenary Camp plus the Catapult I was pushing. But for the blue team, it's all about just getting as many of the Mercenary Camps as possible, grab the objective, and then really try and exploit the 2.5 level advantage that they're currently holding over the opponent's team. The damage output, we got 40,000 for Alarak. He's honestly getting to a point where he soon might be the top damage dealer in the game. For now, it's still Gul'dan with 42,000, but Alarak has now surpassed both Tychus and Hanzo. And this is where they're, as a minimum, gonna try and take out the key, but they could do more here. If they have a shot, they will also attempt to go for the core directly and eliminate that as well. There's the jump. Gotta be careful. Benny is already being chased away a little bit. That keep obviously doesn't stand a prayer. Has absolutely no chance here. Can they end though? Are they going to be able to get a few kills and end game number 1? That's the big question right now. Diablo setting up for the defense. 4-man arrow from Hanzo. Big barbecue. And that's the end of Gul'dan. And Alarak is dead as well. Losing his sadism stacks. That was a fantastic defense. Without a level 20 talent, that arrow from Dynouh was absolutely perfect. The core has taken a bit of damage. But honestly, that was fantastic. That was awesome. They're still a level behind, more than a level, but they need a level for 20. But look at Alarak, he's sitting at 76 sadism right now. He lost a ton, and now they're trying to get a kill on Brightwing too. Scourge is low, attempts to get out of here, but eventually will likely fall. Brightwing is done, and the Haka is going to be able to get out. Seems like, ooh, Diablo makes the play, and that's another kill. Those two were honestly avoidable. Those 2 kills, they hurt because they were staggered by what? By 30, well, by 40 to 50 seconds actually. That's a long time where Team Dynouh is now alone on the map, and we have level 20 towers on both sides. It's a bit of a comeback, everybody. They are starting the comeback here, and this could get very interesting. Team Disciple was ahead by 2.5 levels, and they lost the entire advantage now. They're still heavily ahead in structures. This is the big advantage. They destroyed 3 forts and 1 keep. But if the fights are not going their way anymore, that advantage could very soon also be negated by the red team. So we'll see how far this goes. The camp is spawning at the top. They can go for it and could potentially even push at the top a bit more. Brightwing and the Haka are soon coming back. Benny anchoring the play right there. Just double checking if somebody rotates in. Would be the last thing that they would probably do. Would easily result in another kill. But Dynouh's team is quite happy to establish a bit of a presence now on the map. Most of the game they've actually just been sitting in their base or close to forts and keeps trying to survive. Now it's a very different story as they're finally being able to push out onto the map and try and get a bit more map control. But they have only destroyed a single fort. 1 fort is all that they've been taking out so far. So that's not really a whole lot of damage done yet. They need more than just this one little victory. And as I said before, the topside keep has taken a bit more damage, so catapults are still a concern there. So are mercenary camps that could be taken. We have everyone playing with vision a little bit, and obviously also attempting to bait slightly. I mean, it's the only camp that's currently up on the map, and the blue team is moving in on it. Trying to grab that quickly. Yeah, top side. That is going to alleviate quite a lot of pressure on that keep, but the objective is now up. And this is a top lane shrine that is now spawning. Both of the teams have lost their fort up there, but there's also still the Dehaka factor, and the bot lane is already being pushed out by the minion wave, and Dehaka could try and apply more pressure there by simply moving through it. Anduin with a light bomb. That didn't do anything for them, but a nice stun on Alarak. And Alarak is in trouble. Disciple is trying to get out. Brightwing with a bit of a heal. The arrow misses and is on its way to Florida, I might add. But, oh, Diablo! Benny survives initially, and then Alarak comes in and finishes the job, takes him down. That's the stacks all lost for him. And Tychus using his ult here is obviously a bit of a setback too. Cure needed it for the fight, but that means that he won't be able to use it during the battle at the top. That is surely going to break out now, since we are going for the next objective. Dehaka has started to defend here, not moving down to the bottom of the map, but catapults will still swing the balance in favor of Team Disciple. But the next fight is already breaking out with Dehaka missing the Tong here. The Shrine still active and nobody made it over yet. It's all these little skirmishes and fights as the team are hoping to get kills. And especially the red team understands that they are definitely under pressure here now. So Nagrom is sliding out again. Bot lane, there's a catapult pushing with the minion wave for the blue team. This could become a problem. Now Scorch is also starting to move out. And Tychus Cure gets eliminated. But the counter kill on ETC happens. Isolation on Blaze, as now the rest of the team is moving in too. No Horrify available just yet, but Anduin is coming on with a quick pull. Bunker as a follow-up. Alarak low, right wing with the help. Disciple still alive, gets the big hits in. They can get the kill on Diablo and on Blaze, but Alarak also died. He's at 49 stacks now and top damage on the blue team side. Hanzo's a bit ahead of him, but Hanzo's very likely to fall now as the blue team moves in again and is going to get a kill here. Dynouh is low and dies. As at the bottom of the map, the catapult has homed in on the keep, and that's of course lots of damage here. Anduin, the only survivor, employed the French defense and ran away as fast as he could from that fight. So we have the blue team now taking control of the topside fort, the topside shrine, as the keep at the bottom of the map has already suffered a bit. Dehaka is pushing the middle out a bit further. The problem for Alarak is simply that once that he respawns, he's going to be on 64 sadism, so him dying and losing his sadism stacks definitely is annoying, but he still stacked his level 4 quite nicely. Not done with level 1 yet, so wasn't able to fully complete Extended Lightning here. But with a push through the top lane alone, they should at a minimum get another keep. But of course, 21 minutes into the game right now, the goal is going to be to win the first game of the best of 5 series and take the overall lead on this one. But they're starting to push this one through. Punisher up at the top lane is making its play, and Copenhagen and the entire red team is starting to form up to try and defend. Benny, 66 stacks, not fully stacked, but another nice burn from him. And we got the big red button too. Punisher being defended against. Alarak again with the play. Horrify follow-up. Disciple a bit low here, but they're still looking okay. The defense is going strong though. There is a push coming through the bottom of the map too. It's not only the top lane, but the keep has already been taken out. Hellgate from Benny, perfect timing. He makes it out, still survives the onslaught that we're seeing from the blue team, as Copenhagen has tried to defend the bottom of the map, but has to join the rest of the team to defend the middle here. 15 kills to 9, and the keep at the bottom of the map still makes it. Just barely, but the keep is still in play. Blue team is playing this very slow now as well. They don't want to risk too much either. When they pushed earlier through the middle and were trying to end the game, it didn't work out so well for them, and they lost a huge amount of the advantages that they had. But right now, they know that it's basically their game to lose. The only thing that Team Dynouh was able to accomplish in regards to structures is taking out the fort at the top. So that's obviously not enough to win the game here. But if Team Disciple oversteps, maybe goes a little bit too deep and then gets punished for it, loses 3-4 heroes, then there's still a chance for Team Dynouh to start that comeback. So you have to be very, very careful, because the red team will be looking for that kill to start things up. Benny has already proven that a second ago. Here comes the jet propulsion. ETC missing the slide, but still alive. Dehaka is moving in deep. The arrow completely dodged. Nicely done. Arrow just flying through here. The bottom keep is about to fall, and that will eliminate the last and final structure on the red team side, disregarding the core for a moment. Not looking good for Team Dynouh in game number 1 here to win a bracket final. They are making their plays now, and the blue team, I mean, again, it is their game to lose at this point. Even the minion waves alone are going to finish this eventually if you give them enough time. So now Diablo is being fully isolated. Beautiful Horrify and the Haka follow-up. Benny is on the run, but there's catapults on the core now. ETC actually falling. ETC falling, this is a bit of a problem. They are taking down Diablo, but he was fully stacked by now, so he is back in a few seconds, which still puts the red team in a position where they have the numbers advantage. They had to fall back to defend on the other hand, so now we are seeing them just attempt to push those lanes back. 16 kills, 210, and yeah, Alarak by now at 73,000 damage. Him dying 2 times obviously didn't help him with sadism and therefore the damage output. So Gul'dan is back in the driver's seat when it comes to top damage on the blue team side. 83,000 for him. Nobody can hold a candle to Hanzo though. He's sitting at 97,000. This is soon going to hit the 6-digit club. It's going to hit the 100k. So right now we got the Shrine activating in the middle. And this is going to be a bit of an interesting one, because technically Team Disciple doesn't even have to go for that. If they can send the Haka and maybe even Brightwing on the auxiliary lanes and push the catapults towards the core, that alone would force the red team back. So there's quite a few things that they can do with this. But Benny now pushing down towards the bottom of the map as they're hoping for the camp from the looks of it. It's another 5 seconds until the Shrine is active. Obviously not a lot of vision for Ubi here. If you would know that everybody is down at the bottom of the map, he would go for that wave even faster than he already does. Shrine is active. Top side, that's catapults already massing up. But in comes the big red button. They want those kills. Diablo made the engage in Copenhagen, followed up on it. But Nagrom escaped, so those cooldowns didn't do anything for them. The Haka is still pushing the top lane out and wants another minion wave too. If he takes this one as well, it means the catapults will be very quickly at the core. Again, the play for ETC, Team Dynouh. They're a little bit desperate here, and for good reason. And the Haka is actually moving towards the core completely. He wants to get this now. 19 minion stacks to 19. But the shield is dropping on the core, and it's dropping quickly. We're 25 minutes into the game. The catapults are hitting hard. ETC with a mosh pit. They go for Anduin, and he gets lasered by Alarak. Alarak gets the kill. Hanzo went back to defend and is now pushing Ubi back, but with Dynouh missing, it means that it's now a really tough fight for the red team on the Shrine. 33 to 30 stacks, the Haka gets killed, Blaze falls, and what about Gul'dan? He somehow survives, and it is Diablo who becomes the next target. Bad Benny is down, Cure gets murdered by Alarak, who is absolutely running the show now. Good sadism, good stacks on level 4. ETC dies, but the only survivor on the red team is Dynouh himself. The core is already down to 83%, and now they're starting to make the play for the game. But the Punisher has been taken by Dynouh, so this is something that Team Disciple cannot rely upon. The problem is that with only Hanzo defending, it's highly unlikely that they can make a play here. There's going to be catapults pushing onto the core in just a moment. Disciple is a huge threat to Hanzo too. If he gets close enough and can unleash a combo, it's going to be the end of the Archer. The core falling, Gul'dan with all the big damage. Anduin is back, but I doubt it's going to be enough. The catapults are just too strong at this point, and this is the lead for Team Disciple in the best of 5 series here at the winner bracket final. Nicely done. Infernal Shrines goes to the blue team. GG. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Team Disciple with the lead in the best of 5 series. Job well done on Infernal Shrines as we are headed straight for our second map, Garden of Terror. Over on the left side, the blue team with Ubi on Hogger. We got Disciple, the captain, with Yrel, going for the Light of Karabor. We had Disciple with Yrel with some really cool builds and going also for the Sacred Ground. So I'm really curious if we're going to see the same thing here. Nagrom is currently playing Tyrael, Scorch, an absolute force on Malfurion. Morena's on Hanzo. And over on the right side, it turns out that they're going for a Hammer composition. Team Dynouh is currently playing with a double front line using Q on Sarge and Hammer, Dynouh on Sylvanas, and then we have Copenhagen on Blaze, Bad Benny on Johanna, and Captain Rex is playing Rhaegar. So again, that triple front line that Team Disciple really loves to play with 3 melees here. Again, definitely going to watch out for Disciple and his performance, because his URL plays have been super fun to watch. But how is Team Dynouh now going to react? I mean, the red team obviously needs to do something in order to bring this one back. We got down at the bottom of the map Cure doing his best with the limited mobility that he now just simply has. But there's more fighting happening up at the top, as apparently they're still deciding if somebody's going to Lauber or not. But it seems like nobody's going to die before the 1 minute mark. So far everybody is just easily moving out here, and yeah, we're fine. So in the middle we got Tyrael up against Johanna. Always love myself a Tyrael main tank. I don't know why, but it's always fun. If you have a good Tyrael player, it's just, first of all, massively impactful in the game itself, but it's also very fun to watch. And I will let the player pause slide for now, as Nakrom is just dancing through here. But the camps are now up on the map, and the teams are immediately moving in to get themselves a couple of mercenaries. So to get the siege giants taken real quickly. And down at the bottom of the map, Ubi still up against Cure. Level 7 is going to be the talent where Sergeant Hammer is starting. Well, Hammer will have an impact before that, but you want that mobility, obviously, to make your plays there. Be that as it may, seems like the blue team is a bit more aggressive and is actually thinking of even engaging on that Bruiser camp. Jet Propulsion Connect is solid though. Nicely done. Sylvanas jumps out, and they're still starting to pressure them. Also soon going to sniff out that there's only 2 mercenary minions remaining. But I don't think that they're going to commit to trying and taking this one out. That would just be gambling a bit too much, I guess. But so far, at least, no kill. And Sylvanas is already back here. If they get Sylvanas on isolated lanes, they can definitely push quite hard with her. We have now on level 4 Siege Tactics. And we get the Aegis of Light for the Space Goat. So, yeah, Disciple. Let's jump out here. Well, it's going to be fine. But they can try and pester Urel until she's blue in the face. But for now, no chance of actually eliminating her and ganking up on her. Level 4 talents are ready on both sides now. The final picks have also happened. The camp at the bottom of the map is taken. The first seed is now coming up. And Disciple is jumping out as they focus, on Tyrael. And that's a kill. Yep, Tyrael is gone. Gets at least a connect on Sylvanas. Well, that's definitely not enough to net them a counter kill here. Dynouh gets the heal from Rhaegar. We have Sergeant Hammer still sitting down at the bottom of the map, and Cure just weaving in those auto attacks like a boss. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, one heavy hit after another. I don't really want to make fun of Sergeant Hammer in the early game, but let's just face it, Sergeant Hammer early on is just so incredibly boring. I think a lot of people will probably extend that to Sergeant Hammer being one of the most boring heroes to play. The thing is, I would love for them to just... I mean, we've seen a lot of small patches, right, to address certain heroes. And I think Sergeant Hammer needs to get the baseline treatment for the mobility on level 7. Oh, nice kill on Johanna. Very well done. But they did it with Stitches in the past. Now with Stitches on 13, you get your hook extension, you have other heroes where of course the same is true. And I think for Sergeant Hammer, something similar is needed. Because that level 7 talent is just absolutely mandatory. And you could probably tweak things a little bit to make Sergeant Hammer a bit more interesting even in the earlier stages. I guess it's a bit difficult to, to balance that properly, to make sure that Sergeant Hammer doesn't all of a sudden become massively OP. But it's just weird that every time that we're looking at these early games, it's Sergeant Hammer just literally sitting there waiting for level 7 before the game actually begins. Now that we have with level 7 Hover Siege mode, it's obviously changing things up slightly. On level 7 we also have the Righteous Momentum for Urel, and they are starting to aggressively push the middle of the map with 4 of their heroes. Hogger still down at the bottom of the map, has gone on the prowl. Hoggers, Joggers, and then Seeing Red. So we're just matching icons at this point for one of the frontliners here. Next camp is already up. Seed, by the way, completely ignored so far. Seed has been up for a while now. Nobody cares about it. Nobody's got in. And there's first blood. Malfurion is gone. The old geezer is eliminated. Yeah, so he was quickly killed here. Benny also starting to retreat towards the middle as the rest of the team has gone for the Siege Giants. But, well, good for Team Dynouh. Also, I don't really know what I'm talking about here. I just set Malfurion his first blood. We had the fight up at the top lane where we talked about Tyrael dying and all the rest. So I have no idea what kind of brain fart all of a sudden created that thought. So yes, obviously Malfurion was not first blood. He was the first one to die in that fight. But that was already it. Third blood. You all misunderstood me. I said third blood. So, yeah, the microphone didn't properly pick it up. That's why it sounded similar, but obviously not why I said. Come on. So, here we go. We get again Sacred Ground, and I like it. I honestly really like those Sacred Ground plays that we're seeing from Urel. I got so tired of watching just the same old Urel over and over again with a big-ass cooldown. So right now what we're getting instead is a bit more utility from Disciple, and he's been making use of that in the past very nicely. So we'll see if he can do that again in this game. Big arrow from the top. Yeah, but I don't think they can get the kill on Dynouh. That's the ult from Malfurion to keep everybody alive here as they're starting the chase a bit more aggressively. And also for just a second, Urel already in position. And if they are fighting for the seed, then we're most likely going to see Disciple also with a bit of an impact here. Sanctification, by the way, the ult on Tyrael's end. So no judgment this time. Blue team is definitely going to try for this. But now that Sergeant Hammer is pushing in, they're slowly starting to fall back on this one. Q here with the Boardwalk Empire skin right now. So yeah, we're going full prohibition on this one. That's a pretty cool skin though. They made some really nice skins, and the gangster skins, they were pretty sweet. So I don't know what they were officially called. I think they were called heist skins. I'm not 100% certain anymore, but yeah, they were actually pretty nice. So when it comes to the skin department, a lot of those are fairly interesting. The latest Thrall skin is definitely one where people are very split on. So some love it, some absolutely hate it, and say that it doesn't fit at all into the game. But yeah, at least we're getting some skins out there. Sacred Ground already being used. Okay, Disciple starting to move back towards the top. It's a little bit of a slower paced game than what we've seen in game number 1, where the blue team has taken the lead. By now, just looking at the team fight potential, we have 20,000 damage for Sergeant Hammer. We're looking at 25,000 for Hanzo. And then you have Tyrael and Urel chipping in. These triple frontline drafts are working out extremely well for the blue team. But can they make it into the grand final here? Disciples team for the last 2-3 tournament, honestly, it was an absolute blast. Now, this obviously is a Captain's Draft tournament. Again, Captain's Clash. So the teams were not formed before the tournament. Captains were chosen and then they drafted their team from a player pool, which always mixes things up quite a bit, which is nice. But I still have to say that Disciple is having such a massive impact with whichever team he plays in lately, and with some of the teammates that he brings with him, that it's just totally awesome to see how they are shaking up the... I don't want to say like the established team meta, but normally when you're looking at any tournament, right, you have a couple of favorites pretty much immediately, and teams that you expect to end up in the grand final. And Disciple and his boys, the Raccoons too, like a lot of them have absolutely shaken the status quo up, and I'm totally here for it. So yeah, very big fan. Bit of a trap down at the bottom of the map, as we're now having Dynouh and Captain Rex sitting in the bush waiting for anybody to rotate in and make a play towards the next seed point. Maybe for Sergeant Hammer. But they're going for Disciple now instead. Arrows already out. Nice. They could go for Rhaegar. They're trying. And the Self-Ancestral. Every single time that I see Rhaegar Self-Ancestral, I'm still reminded of the time that Blizzard thought it was an absolutely amazing idea to take that away from him. It's like, you can Ancestral everyone but yourself. And Rhaegar's just sitting there like, wait, what? Why? Well, because. That was probably one of the silliest changes that I've ever seen. I was so happy when they made it so that Rhaegar can use Ancestral on himself again. Sylvana's down. That's another kill. Imagine, for example, if Uther wasn't able to use the Divine Shield on himself. It's like, yeah, you can shield anybody. Just not yourself. It's not a thing. So, 2 kills to 2. Each team with 1 seed. Well, there's the interrupt. Tyrael is now trying to push them a little bit back here. And another interrupt from that Benny, but I suppose this is gonna be where it ends. Cure is not gonna move in for a third, and that is seed number 2 in the hands of Team Disciple. So, no fort has been destroyed. We're 10 minutes into the game, both of the teams on even kills, even experience. Not a single fort has been destroyed, so it's definitely a much more slower game than our first map. And for Team Dynouh, it's a massively important one too, because right now you kind of need to make sure that you're going to be able to get a point here. Playing from an 0-2 position in a best of 5 is always an utter disaster, and they're going to be trying to avoid this as best as they can. But the action at the bottom of the map is starting to break out again, as we are having the blue team rotate over and make their plays right there. Yeah, well, still pushing for that fort. 16 talents in on both sides now. So the red team, not really that eager to go for the structures, as it turns out. Especially with the rotation coming. But now up at the top, next little play. And you can really tell that Disciple is taking full advantage of the lower cooldown of Sacred Ground here. I mean, so many fights, but this just gets immediately thrown out. Had that a few times now. We got the Templar's Verdict with level 16 now as well. And Rhaegar completed his typical totem build, with Sarge Dammer going for the mechanical know-how at this point. So a bit more survivability for him. Both teams with 2 seeds, meaning that the next one is of course going to spawn the first set of Garden Terrors. So we're going to get the objective in. Yep, Hanzo simming his play in the middle. They're actually invading deep. They wanted to go for Malfurion here. Shockwave, arrow missing from Hanzo. That was more of an arrow meant to help the blue team survive at the bottom of the map in case that Team Dynouh would actually commit fully to that Malfurion attack that they initially launched. Looking at the experience in general, mercenary experience, I mean, again, this is so massively even, it's kind of ridiculous. And you can see that even when it comes to the amount of mercenary camps that teams were able to grab and the minion XP that was picked up here, they are so unbelievably close. So now that we have the seed spawn, this might actually be the first moment where things will change a little bit, where we're going to see a bit of action around specifically, of course, that seed and potentially the objective that could be picked up a moment later. But they're already making a move for the hit points on the bottom fort. Up at the top, we have Sylvanas fighting it out one-on-one with Yrel. But that is a lot of damage on that fort at the bottom of the map, and Benny has to also be careful. That jet propulsion, though, glorious! And the follow-up from Cure was there immediately. They take Hanzo out, save their fort. Sylvanas is now pushing in the middle with a minion wave, and Yrel is forced to react to this, even though there are still a few remaining minions and mercenaries up at the top. So this is actually, for the first time, applying some real pressure on the blue team, and they're not going to be happy about this at all. First of all, there's a seed now up for grabs, which might spawn Garden Terrors. Well, it will, 100%. The question is just for whom. And now that Tyrael attempts to interrupt, he could also get caught. Moves towards the top again. Malfurion gets chased though, trying to save himself here. Scorch is doing well. Tap the fountain. The channel is happening. Shockwave interrupt attempt, but Captain Rax gets the hit, and that's Garden Terrors now on the side of Team Dynouh. Nicely done by the red team. Yep, that's the first fort destroyed, and they are gonna walk away with a lot more like that. Bottom of the map, can't save this one. Don't even try. This fort gets taken out, and then in the middle of the map they're already making plays for the first keep of the game. Now, since Team Disciple still has 2 seeds to their name, if they can defend this here, they should be able to pick that seed up eventually and maybe bring the game back. But right now, of course, they're starting to suffer and they're starting to fall behind. The topside fort is also going to be taken out, which means that the entire outer ring of defense is eliminated. Down at the bottom of the map, Great Root, the arrow connecting with Rhaegar was intended for the front line though. They wanted to blow Janna up and now can't. The bunker coming out. Jojo still on the move, running out of mana too. Benny is likely going to die here, and does. Benny dies. Tyrael is still alive. They're trying to go for Rhaegar, who's slowly making his way out of the battle, and will have also his Ancestral back up in a second. There it is. And they get the counter kill. Hogger is gone. Sanctification now used, but honestly, the blue team needs to stop chasing here. They're over chasing this one hard. And I understand the impulse, but they are 4 versus 4, and this is not the best spot for them to be in. At the top lane, we now have the wall halfway destroyed, but 3 kills to 4 all in all. The level 20 talents are available for Team Dynouh, and Team Disciple is going to pick theirs up in a second. But that's a lot of structures lost with just one objective, with one push. So that was pretty big. That was actually huge for them here. And yeah, now that we have down at the bottom right, Dynouh still going for a few additional camps. Next question, of course, is also going to be what exactly has the blue team now planned. Are they with Storm Talents now confident enough to go into the next objective fight, take the seed, and then turn it around? Or what's the idea here? Because they need to do something. They need to bring this back now. They can't just like let this sit like this. We're 15 minutes in. Catapults don't hurt that much yet, but as time goes on, they are gonna scale. They got way stronger, and then Team Disciple is gonna get wrecked on essentially every single lane. They don't have a global either. If you had the Hake here, it would be a bit of a different story, but that's not the case. And the seed is spawning soon. But 20 versus 20, that also gave us Seraphim. And we have the Holy Arena. Dynouh's jumping in again for a bit of action with Sylvanas as they're trying to push this one back. And talking about Sylvanas, Sylvanas is currently at 52,000 damage, 70,000 damage for Sergeant Hammer. And Hanzo is still sitting at 60k. Yeah, talking about Hanzo, there comes the arrow. They're trying to follow that up. Bunker is already out. And yes, there it is. Sacred Ground as Yrel gets hit by the stun. Very nice move again from Copenhagen on Blaze. They're trying to get a bit more damage together over here, but the blue team, they just don't break. They are still alive. They're still kicking. And Team Dynouh is always looking for that final blow here. Are currently just not able to break through this. So the defense is still holding on. Yrel is sitting at the bottom of the map. Disciple is pushing this out as the Siege Giant has done some damage to the keep. But the red team is very likely going to be able to grab that seed. Or are they? Because Tyrael wants to go for the interrupt. Yeah, well, they get the first ones, thanks to Hanzo. So this is really the fight that matters. You want that seed. This is the only ticket that they have back into the game. Team is low though, so is Tyrael. Hanzo is able to escape, Tyrael not so much. So that is Tyrael eliminated. They're trying to go for a follow-up kill. Jojo, the Ancestral, too late. Captain Rex a bit too late to the party as another wild arrow flies across the map and straight on its way to Florida here. 4 kills to 5, and seems like Hanzo might be saving some of those good arrows for the next game. There's the seed, and that's a really nice spot for Team Dynouh now to be in. Making sure that the opponent doesn't have a seed to play around with, doesn't have the Garden Terrors. That's already a big step forward for them. So, yeah, with this, we're now having also the Lunar Shower in. Sergeant Hammer still sitting in the middle. Massive auto attacks, time and time again. Yeah, it's still cool to see Q here. It always makes me happy to see some of the NA players participating in tournaments on the European server. So even with the ping disadvantage, Q helping out the team here as best as he can. And now we have Copenhagen. A bit low too. Just trying to turn this around. And the Ancestral. It seems like honestly Captain Rex this time went for like, okay, better safe than sorry. The last 2 Ancestrals that I was trying to throw out both came in too late. And now I'm gonna be a bit faster than usual. Can argue if this one was really needed, but hey, hindsight is always 20/20. So this seed on the other hand, this is what Team Disciple is aiming for. They want this one. They want to make sure that they're finally getting back into the game, and Garden Terror, Seeds, that's the way to do it. Siege Giants at the bottom of the map and Catapults, so the longer this lasts, the better for the red team. Especially since the top lane is also getting pushed. Once again, Hanzo with an arrow, this one connected, but the seed still not taken. And as I said, that bot lane is becoming a problem. Sergeant Hammer with the BFG. Here comes the Holy Arena. They're trying to force the fight again. Moving in for Bad Benny. Benny is low. And Benny is dead. So, Benny is gone. Captain Rex is gone. And all of a sudden, Team Disciple, ladies and gentlemen. Here come the kills. And it's a triple, baby. They get 3 kills. And this certainly changes the equation a little bit. It's going to be Garden Terrors. And it might be more than that. Bottom of the map, the Keep is going to take even more damage. Catapult is still griefing a little bit. Good news for the blue team, or that would have been even more damage. The Keep is suffering, but now we have Garden Terrors pushing for the fort in the middle. This one is an easy kill. And can the blue team turn the game around? If they now, honestly, if they can go for a comeback here, that would be amazing. Uriel is the only hero on the blue team side that hasn't died yet. For the red team, it's Cure on Sergeant Hammer. But they want that keep. Only Sylvanas and Sergeant Hammer are on the map. Ready to defend. The 2 range damage dealers. Vision is already being granted, and that keep just doesn't stand a chance. Team Disciple with the big pressure. Now Jojo is thankfully back for the red team. The bottom fort should fall. They could theoretically defend the one at the top though. And that's one of the reasons why the blue team is now moving in for this one right away. So Benny is already there, trying to slow down the rotation a little bit and interrupt this as best as possible. The fort at the bottom of the map is already being assailed and will be destroyed in a few seconds. But right here, we have Jojo again attacked. Garden Terror with decent damage, but not enough to seriously threaten this if there's a proper defense set up, and that's exactly the case. So 7 kills to 5, and a lead in experience. Level 23 versus level 22. Sergeant Hammer is by now at 126,000 damage, as you can see here. Hanzo at 104,000, so both of them proud members of the 6-digit club. And Sylvanas is now assisting at the bottom of the map. They still need to do something about this, but as the dust settles, it looks more and more like Team Disciple will be ahead in structures. Well, they actually are already, thanks to the keep that they destroyed in the middle. And they might be able to take out that fort at the top too, but even if they wouldn't be able to pull that one off, it would still be pretty nice. Benny, low, and yeah, he's alive. Gets another Iron Skin out, and that puts him in a good spot to just simply move away from the battle and make it through it. But it got close for a second. If Joanna dies, that would have just been another cue for the blue team to move in and try and take them on here. So, as it stands, we have the next set of Siege Giants about to be taken. Nobody is threatening Garden Terrors anytime soon, so it's really going to be about the fights from here on out. Battles for camps and so on and so forth. And talking about camps, they are taking a massive amount here. So one camp after another is already getting locked in. Siege Giants at the bottom of the map about to be claimed. Red team has essentially taken everything on the map they could, with the exception of the bottom right. And with Hoga, there's obviously never really a problem to take a camp. Dong, 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 dong. And yeah, he will do his thing. Already Hearthing back here. Vision games are starting to be played too. Everybody is obviously a bit weary if they're getting ganked up or what else is happening. That Hanzo arrow that we just saw, I'm not quite sure what exactly that was all about, but firing that off down to the bottom left seems like somebody fat-fingered his ult a second ago. So, yeah. Not really the best arrow in the Nexus here. I told you, he's saving the better ones for the next map. But that top lane push needs to be dealt with. There's no mercenary camps anymore. We have one seed coming up. And I assume that the teams are slowly going to start to fight for it. Jojo sitting tight over here in the middle of the map. Nagrom still riding around in his pleb horse. Plebbing away. Yep, but the seat is up. And now it's time to try and make a move in for it. Next one to potentially hit the 6-digit club is going to be Sylvanas. She's at 91,000. Nice, alright. Once again, moving in here with also the Holy Arena. A bit late from Nagrom, but still. All alive and fine. Wailing Arrow has not been used, neither has the Shockwave of Hogger. So there's still some big tools that we will see eventually on this one. Sylvanas moving towards the top. Next little attack is already coming. Disciple, careful. Has still not died yet. Neither Sergeant Hammer. Shockwave into Hanzo Arrow. This time he completely nailed it. And Jojo goes down. Jojo is dead. And now they come in for Blaze. And he can't get out of the fight either. Copenhagen is gone. Sylvanas is moving towards the top, is juking them out a little bit, but the blue team is obviously aiming straight for the core. They want to end the game here. What about Sylvanas? I think Dynouh is trying to go for a solo core move here. Not so sure if that's going to work. This is going to be 5 heroes against 1. Dynouh is the one advantage that has Catapults and Siege Giants with him, but I don't think that's going to be enough to win the race. And it is an absolutely rough one. Good attempt by Dynouh, I gotta say. That is way more damage than I thought he would be able to dish out, but obviously Team Disciple is just a little bit faster on this. They take the victory, and that's a 2-0 lead in the best of 5 for the blue team. Absolutely insane. A fantastic winner bracket final so far for Team Disciple. GG. Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Well, it's a 2-0 advantage now for the blue team. Team Disciple has a massive lead, and this is match point. We're in the winner bracket final of the Captain's Clash. And on the left now, Ubi with Blaze. We got Thrall played by Disciple. Morenas is on Hanzo. Nagrom on Arthas. We're seeing a bit more Arthas, and I really, really like it. I think I talked about it in one of the previous games already, but Arthas has still a special place in my heart for Warcraft 3 and the whole storyline there alone. Scorch on Rhaegar, and then over on the right side, Team Dynouh, this time still with that double front line, Copenhagen and Urel, Bad Benny over Nubarak. We got Cure on Falstad, Dynouh on Junkrat, and Captain Rax on Brightwing. Now there are a couple of combos for Team Dynouh that we could see. Cocoon into Gust, Isolation alone is obviously something that you can easily use if you wanted to. Now, we can with the Nubarak also still cheese the objective whenever it spawns, when Alderac pass here. So once all those prisoner camps are up, there's a few things that you can do. Ubi gets kind of trapped here. I like that. He was trying to harass Nubarak a little bit, and then very quickly it turns against him. So yeah, not too shabby. Neatly done. Oh, well. Okay, Ubi's already moving back out, and here we go. Next dive. A bit more aggression in this game. And it's a kill. First blood against Rhaegar. Me likey. Dynouh. I mean, again, they're 0-2 now, so they need to win 3 in a row if they don't want to drop down into the loser's bracket. So they really have to step it up, and showing early game aggression is one way how you can try and do that. Just continue to play it safe the entire time is probably not really the best move here. So we'll see what they can actually do. Now, well, in the meantime, as things are starting to slow down a little bit, also a bit of a recommendation. Movie has been, I mean, very good reviews, but I've recently just watched Weapons. Honestly, I'm not really a big horror movie guy or anything. A friend of mine wanted to go and watch it and finally convinced me. And I gotta say, it was actually pretty well done. It was also kind of cool to see so many actors that are either recognized from big movies or other shows in the movie. So if that type of movie and genre is something that you enjoy, then I can definitely recommend that you check it out. So yeah, Weapons, pretty good, quite well done. And I especially liked the general approach to show the story through different lenses and through different perspectives. It made some of the scenes just really cool and super interesting, because you see it from different angles over the course of the movie. So if you haven't watched it yet, if you want to check it out, then definitely a thumbs up from my end. Again, it's not really my genre. Usually don't watch a lot of horror movies. This one was a pretty decent one, so if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. Level 4, we got the Hand of Freedom right now. We have for Arthas also the full spec into the old school build with Frozen Wastes now coming in on level 4. All the way up at the top. Arthas. Arthas is also a little bit of a weird one here. I mean, you have a very beefy front line, but it's not like there's any auto attackers on the other side. So, not sure what they're going to be able to do with Arthas. Usually we're getting Syndragosa, so I assume it's going to be the same thing here. And you can try to maybe pressure with that a bit more. But if we're talking about drafts and synergies, Team Disciple is looking, I don't know, looking a little bit weird. They are holding strong with their triple front line though. They really, really like that approach. On the other side though, Team Dynouh just continuously playing that 2 melee, 2 ranged approach. And it hasn't been working so far for them. It was close though. I mean, it's not like it was the draft alone or the composition alone that made the plays here. Thrall, by the way, stacking so far pretty well. Sitting on 3. Be a little bit careful on what he does against Falstad up at the top. But once that we're talking about some actual team fights, he should be able to lock the remaining ones in fairly quickly. We have level 7 already up on the red team. And now more pressure down at the bottom of the map by Team Dynouh. They need to be aggressive. They need to be really the ones to take early control of the game. If they don't do that, then it's going to be difficult. I mean, bit of an understatement. It's going to be difficult, he said, as the red team needed to win 3 in a row. No, they are in a really bad spot. I mean, obviously, you need to win 3 matches in a row. Your opponent needs to only win a single map, and they are moving on to the grand final through the winner's bracket. So, Team Dynouh, they gotta be aggressive, is basically what I'm trying to say here. If they don't take any risks here, it's not gonna work out. Cure a bit low, but they nearly got a kill on Hanzo, who's still around, by the way. But now they're playing for Ubi, and this is the end of Blaze. Blaze is gone. So, Blaze is eliminated. And that's 2 kills to 0 now. Doesn't give them a massive lead in XP or anything of the sort, but the one thing that they can do is go for the objective and try and get themselves a head start on the prisoner camp. I doubt that they're going to be able to take the entire thing right now, but that's still 5 seconds that they just locked in. I mean, better than nothing. They also got Junkrat back up on the camp so that they can take more pressure or control through the mid lane. Might be another kill on at the bottom of the map too. Morenas, this time he's gone. In the previous fight he was still able to escape, but this time he gets taken out. And talking about taking things out, Thrall missed the wolf in the earlier engage, and therefore is reset back down to 0 with his level 4. He's still defending here. But this is, I think, one of the first times in the series where the red team has taken an early lead in experience and might be able to build on it. They're also trying to go again for Arthur, so get slowed down a bit and body block. They got another stun here. They might be able to get a kill, and yep, they do. Didn't even need a stun for it. Urel moved in and just light him up. So they could go for... Nah, they're not going to dive in that hard. But level 10 abilities are now ready. We don't have Sacred Ground on the side of the red team. Again, this is the Ardent Defender as usual. Don't really know too many players outside of Disciple that go for Sacred Ground with Urel. But as you can see here, that's not only going to be 4 kills to 0 and early level 10. They're also going to get the objective with it. But at least the blue team has now their own heroics that gives us, amongst other things, Sundering. And still the attempt at an interrupt, but the objective is taken. Objective is taken, and now the only job is to get out of here. But they might not be able to save Benny. The arrow from Hanzo came out, the follow-up was there too, and the gust is just a bit too late. It saves the rest of the team, but a noob got wrecked. So, Benny down. Not for long. We're getting the Raiders in at this point. And we got 14,000 damage now for Junkrat, and 19,000, well, 20,000 basically for Hanzo. So, how much are these Raiders actually going to do? Because Anubarak is now back, but he still has a bit of travel time. And I don't really think that we're going to get to see too much Raider damage. I would be shocked to see one of those forts fall. Absolutely shocked. At the bottom of the map, they're already defending. There's still the hope to take Cure down, I guess, but he dodged the Howling Blast. Thrall at the top also goes down. Alright, that might change things up a little bit. So they went straight in for Thrall. At the bot lane, the gank was not successful, but now the fort is under lots of pressure. They're going for another kill, and they take out Rhaegar. And with Rhaegar now dying too, is going to be a fort after all. The 2 orcs were both eliminated. And that was nicely done. That definitely puts them in the driver's seat now with the fort destroyed. 6 kills to 1. And even more aggression coming through the middle as they are moving in on Arthas. Now, it's not going to be easy to take Nagrom down here, but still, those are exactly the moves that they need. Take control of the game, and then don't let it go. So as it stands, it's all about the mercenary camp again. We're having, for the time being, yeah, still 0 stacks for Thrall, obviously. Plus 133 and 19 on Arthur's level 4 and level 1. So, yeah, Nagrom is going to get a little bit more power and utility out of those in just a few seconds. But it is really the red team that is just doing so much better here. They get level 13. The one thing that's kind of interesting, and we should probably take a look at it, is just that the gap in experience isn't bigger than what it is right now. And that's mainly because of the minion experience that you can see here. The hero XP advantage that we're seeing from Team Dynouh is basically negated by the better minion experience that we're seeing from Team Disciple. So they were more diligent of picking up the experience on lanes. Sundering, that's 2 ults on an Uberak. That didn't really do anything. Thrall is trying to complete his quest. Arthur's completed both. There's a boss pushing through the top, and currently nobody is dealing with it. So the longer this fight down here lasts, the more the boss can do at the top. It's an early game boss, so it's not going to do too much. It's still going to do some damage. 13 talents on both sides. Thrall is back to 3 stacks. And still nobody moving back against this. This is going to open the wall up. Won't be doing much more than that, but still, that also counts. So Nagrom gets attacked again. Blaze, who was on his way to defend against the boss at the top, is also retreating to try and deal with this. Ancestral on Arthas, just to be on the safe side, and now Disciple has to make sure that he gets out of there as fast as he can. I think he's already too late. Yeah, he gets caught hard. Absolutely no chance. Yeah, that quest is lost again. And he was sitting at 5 stacks when it happened, so real unfortunate for him. And Rhaegar gets also very quickly attacked. Does not have the cooldown on the Ancestral, so that's another kill. Both of the orcs are once again dead, and this will likely cost them the fort at the bottom of the map too, especially with that minion wave now moving in. So it's a 1-level lead that we're talking about now. Riptire, they want to Ghast into the corner. Arthas gets stunned out, and even with the army being popped here, I don't think that Nagrom is going to make it. So Arthas is gone. It's actually kind of funny when you think about it. This is one of the first times in a long time that we are seeing Arthas with army. Think back through the tournament. Essentially every single time that Arthas is taken, it was Syndragosa. But now we have him with the Army of the Dead. Didn't really do anything for survivability here. With the top keep already taking damage, the red team is now working on boss number 2. And so far, this has been an amazing map for Team Dynouh. Level 16 talents now. They are still a level ahead, and they got that boss. So 2 forts are destroyed. This is their best game by far to this point. Now, is that going to be enough to initiate a comeback here? Maybe. But it's also not over yet. And Team Disciple has shown so many turnarounds and late game victories in this tournament that I definitely wouldn't count them out just yet here on Overbreak Pass. They want to go to that grand final. They want to win the winner bracket. And we'll see if they can do it right here. Boss is already at the bottom of the map, going through that wall again. So yeah, firing away against those towers, one hit after another, as the blue team is more interested in defending the objective. So they're all sitting up at the top, which means that the boss is likely going to get some keep damage in. Not a ton, but it's going to take the wall out and potentially damage the keep at least a little bit, especially now that Falstad is moving out to the bottom of the map too. That means that they are going to take down that minion wave pretty easily. So Cure is already making his move here. The rest of the team was trying to go at the top for Hanzo, but let that slide. And with Blaze now appearing to... yeah, there's not too much that Falstad can actually do at the bottom of the map. Arrow fully dodged. And another one that is straight headed for NA. Narrowly missing the target here. As we got Nagrom still securing the space around their own objective. Only a single kill in this game for Team Disciple. 1 kill is all that they got this far.
kill against Benny earlier. Now they're hoping to get an objective. But gas is already used. Team Dynouh slowly getting in position here. 5 versus 5 for now. But the blue team, they try to be aggressive. They know that they can't just sit back the entire game and slowly lose the battles here. So they go for the channel. Army is being used too. They're trying to zone, especially Kyo out, who's obviously on the fragile side. A little bit easier to kill. But then again, Rega gets murdered. Absolutely destroyed here. Seems like Nagrom is also gonna die, so that's a double kill. Make it a triple, baby. Going straight for Hanzo. And even Thrall was mega low for just a moment. Thrall coming in with the Sundering, trying, of course, to save Hanzo. But that didn't work out for them. Now it's gonna be another objective for Team Dynouh from the looks of it. And they are pulling farther and farther ahead into this game. I mean, look at the difference in experience, for example. That's a 2-level gap between the two teams right now. So this is pretty massive. They are going to try to also get the boss here. The timing is absolutely perfect for them. Boss is coming up. They hit it and pull the aggro. And then they can still go for the objective down here. So they're going to get it all. 3 are already battling for the boss. It's now obvious what's happening. But Team Disciple won't be able to properly react to it. We have Thrall also showing in the middle of the map. Junkrat is down at the bot lane. And with the objective plus the boss, that's of course going to be a top keep. The only question that still remains is, can they get more? The fort in the middle should fall, but in addition to that, can they remove more armor shields from the core? Can they get another keep? Topside keep is... I mean, you can't save that. That thing's gone. If they get level 20 as well, then they can push this even harder, and there's a definite chance that they're going to be able to pick this one up. The problem is that Copenhagen is about to get killed. He's trying to jump out. They're sundering. Right Wing is able to retreat, but Urel is gone. And that is a typical one from the category things that shouldn't have happened. So Urel getting caught in that situation is absolutely atrocious. This is one of the few things that they really, really needed to avoid happening. Bottom keep is taking damage. Disciple's going to try and defend it. Middle of the map, the fort about to be gone. They're trying to get a kill on Arthas, but he gets out. Now imagine all of that with Urel still in play. If Urel was still here, this would have been a totally different story, but now it's just not in the cards anymore to end the game. They have level 20s. They are massively ahead. They've also done damage at the bottom keep, but they can't take this out. So retreating too late cost them an opportunity to end the game here. And as I said before, you have to keep in mind, they haven't won a single map yet. This is match point number 1, game 3. Team Disciple has played so much better so far. But this is the moment where Team Dynouh could finally put a point on the board and start to turn things around. Junkrat and Hanzo, essentially identical damage on the two of them. Falls out with 36,000, whereas for the blue team, the second highest damage dealer is Thrall with 27k. And they want another boss. They already took 3 bosses in this game. They want to go for number 4. Disciple just showing up for a second and instantly everybody is like, nah, let's go. Let's take him out. But they're unable to do it. He gets away. But what they can do is get... Ooh, could get that cocoon out. Falstad is flying in, says hello. They don't even need the gust. Thrall gets destroyed and gets buried in the snow. As Urel is still aggroing the boss and is going to get it for the team. And that is a bit of a death sentence here. Now you have a boss against you at the bottom of the map. You have a level 20 against you. You just lost one of your side laners. Have fun defending that keep. And once this one's gone... Oh, well, actually they can't go for the game here. The keep is already falling, which means that 2 of the armor shields are gone. Guys, they're going to try and end. Team Dynouh is going to try and put that first point on the board that I just spoke of. So here comes that pressure. They go for the core. They have level 20 talents for a little bit longer. Thrall is down for another 20 seconds. The boss isn't quite here yet. Riptire is already hitting hard. Level 20 Storm talents now on both sides. But that boss is going to be massively annoying to deal with. Wind Tunnel already used as Blaze made another approach. Thrall is not back yet. But here comes the attack. That boss is hitting hard. Can they get a few more heroes in? Nope. The red team decides that it's time to fall back here. They don't want to risk it.
They debated for a little bit, they were thinking about it, and then they just said, you know what, let's just move back for now and go instead for the objective, take a lead there, and not force it. Because if we get wiped on the core, then it's going to be a disaster. That gets another interrupt, more time, but with 13 kills to 2, they still have done pretty well. Now they also took that camp, and this is where the keep in the middle is now taking even more damage. The blue team, then again, they just went straight up for the objective. They know that they have to be aggressive now if they want to have a chance of winning game number 3 and make this a flawless victory against Team Dynouh and send the red team into the losers bracket. Right now, they are in trouble. They have only destroyed a single structure, and that's the fort in the middle. Forster, talking about structures, he's currently using his global and is pushing for the keep in the middle a little bit further. And they got a camp coming up there as well. So as long as Forster takes some of those minions out, that's going to be pretty sweet for them. They're going to get that keep. And once that the core does not have any armor shields anymore, it is easy pickings. But the objective is about to be claimed by the blue team. And it seems like they're going to let it happen. Here comes Arthur's. Thrall is trying to defend. This is massive. This is going to be the end of that keep and the armor shields. But the objective at least is taken by Team Disciple. They get the objective, but they might lose some of their heroes now. Morena's in trouble. Goes down. That's Hanzo dead. And that is Blaze eliminated too. All of a sudden the chase is on. Rhaegar gets wrecked. And that is only 2 heroes surviving, and I'm not so sure about Arthur's, to be honest with you. Seems like he is not going to make it either. Only 1 defender, no armor shields, the core already down to 50% of its HP. Team Dynouh, finally! I guess the caffeine finally kicked in, the coffee, and, well, that is a point on the board for them. Thrall is down, it's a 5-man team wipe. As we have Team Dynouh with a victory on All Direct Pass. They get that W. 2 more to go if they want to turn the series around and go for the massive comeback. Nicely done. Well played. First map in this best of 5 series where Team Disciple is not successful. GG. So, Team Dynouh was able to put a point on the board and are trying that reverse sweep, the comeback. We got Towers of Doom as our 4th map between the 2 teams here in the winner bracket final of the Captain's Clash, with Ubi on Hogger. And they actually deviated away for the first time now from their triple front line, now only running Ubi on Hogger and Nagrom on Diablo at the front, with Disciple on Cassia, Scorch on Malfurion, and Morenas on Hanzo. Over on the right side, we have Team Dynouh after the victory on All Direct Pass, now with Q on Falstad again. Junkrat, played by Dynouh, again. Captain Rex on Brightwing, again. Copenhagen on Blaze, again! And Stitch just gets played by Bad Benny. So, they switched 1 hero out, and everything else is the same from the previous game. That's pretty much where we are right now. So, interesting one. Definitely an interesting one that they're currently running here, and yeah, we'll see. But this is one of the funny things when you're having a tournament where there are no big different, well, where there are no draft restrictions, no draft rules. You essentially end up in with similar drafts. And by the way, now that I think about it, we had Urel as the side laner on the last map, so 3 heroes are the same. The front line has changed. Instead of Urel, we now have Blaze, and then of course, instead of Johanna, we have the other guy here. But yeah. Well, with this being said and done, right now the first blood is already in, so Hanzo gets destroyed. And this is now the 2nd time that we have first blood for Team Dynouh. So the red team opening up with more aggression. Found definitely the rhythm compared to the first 2 maps. But if that's going to be enough to go for reverse, to force game number 5, it's a very, very different story. Very different question here. So, as it stands right now, we are looking at a quick play for potentially the, well, the camp here. The red team is, or the blue team is totally willing to move in for it. Diablo, nice dodge. The problem is that Malfurion still gets hit by it, and Malfurion is down. That's your healer gone. Diablo gets caught on the wrong side of that fight as Disciple also falls. So that's Disciple gone, and Diablo's just sitting there like, help! I can't get out. So all of a sudden it's 4 kills to 0, and yeah. As far as starts into the games go, that is pretty bad. Oh my god, what the hell is happening here? Hanzo is dead as well. 5 kills to 0. Damn, that's more than a level lead already. This is not a great start into the 4th game for the blue team. I mean, not at all. This is a total disaster for them when you think about it. So, phew. Good luck with this one. Have fun bringing this one back, because now you're more than a level behind already, as we just have the triple altar phase coming up. Color me intrigued. I'm a little bit curious to see how this is gonna go. Disciple and his boys, they need a few kills, if you ask me, in order to bring this back and close the experience gap. This far, this hasn't been going well. It was also a little bit unlucky, I gotta say. I mean, Diablo, the hook was meant for him. He dodges. Malfurion is behind him and just in range of the hook. That ends the life of the healer. Diablo's caught on the wrong side of the fight, and then Hanzo gets killed too. So there's just way too many bad luck moments coming together for Team Disciple. Now we have the altar channels happening all the way at the top left. Ubi is getting at least one for the team, but down at the bottom of the map with level 7 now in the hands of the red team. I do not think that Team Disciple is going to be able to make an actual play for it. Disciple is trying, but oh yeah, Junker is already there. Too much interrupt potential from him alone. Blue team is going to attempt to posture a little bit, and if they get free interrupts, it will take them, but this should be where it ends for them here. Jet Propulsion connects. Yeah, well done. Good damage on Diablo. Really good damage on Diablo. And that's the end of him. Diablo is dead. 6 kills to 0. Another hook. And, well, bye-bye Hanzo. Hanzo is dead too. And guys, it is an absolute disaster. I mean, seriously, what is going on here? Team Dynouh is melting Team Disciple. They're going through them like hot butter through cheese in their attempt to force game number 5. Finally, we have level 7 talents for the blue team. But this is just rough. I mean, this far, the blue team has no chance here. They haven't even gotten a single kill yet. The question, of course, when you are ahead and when you're able to dominate the early game as much as Team Dynouh currently does, the question is always, what can you do with it? How much can you capitalize on it? And so far, they're just landing these hooks. I mean, Benny, has he missed the hook? Even the ones that he misses, they hit something. So right now it's kill number 8, and they are half a level away from level 10. That's where we are right now. It's ridiculous. They stole the opponent's pumpkin camp. Now they're going for their own. But it is just an utter disaster for Team Disciple. Still early game, and this is the comeback map. I mean, it always has been. So maybe they have a chance to just rock the late game and bring it back. But at least early on, it's not working for them. Another hook, another hit, another isolation, and Diablo is low, and I guess he survives? Yeah, this time he makes it. But Gorge has been used, and that's the end of Hanzo. They hit their level 10 abilities, and then instantly Hanzo gets deleted as well. So now it's more or less a 2-level advantage. They're just pressuring on all sides. Falsat is going up towards the top. We have only a single global in the game, so no a Haka to counterplay anything here. And with the pumpkins connecting at the bottom of the map, they are seriously starting to threaten that bell tower. And since it's only Cassia that's defending, that bell tower is lost. So the bell tower is gone. With the level 10 advantage, Dynouh is also going to get a free channel. So they are taking a lead on the objective. But how much more are they going to be able to pull off here? 5 shots fired, it puts them down to 27. Still more than half a level until Team Disciple gets their own heroic abilities. And of course Team Dynouh just uses that to now open these walls up. Open up the one in the middle. Up at the top, Hogger has also suffered some damages on the top side bell tower. And then we're going down to the bottom of the map with Benny having his Gorge up again. So Gorge is ready and could still be used here. And finally,
finally level 10 for Team Disciple. So they got heroic abilities now. They can start fighting back. We get Apocalypse, we get Shockwave, we have on top of that also Valkyries. If you get a good Valkyrie hit in here, then you can do quite a lot with that. Still looking at Copenhagen, the top lane. This is very safe since they don't have vision on the blue team. And he already realized that there is a realistic chance that they are trying to make a play for him. More pumpkins about to be attacked, but here comes Team Disciple. They're eager for some fights, especially before level 13 is ready. But there's the hook, Gorge, and the Gust. Nice. The isolation is there, and even with the Apocalypse, Diablo's going to be in some trouble. So Dibbles is trying to push out. Malfurion with attempt to save him. Not able to pull that off, though. Valkyrie gets used. And Falstad easily moves away. They're looking for more kills and they find them. Cassia is dead. 11 kills to 0. Still not a single kill for Team Disciple. Not one. It's crazy. It's honestly nuts. We're now 7.5 minutes in and it's 11 kills to 0 and more than a 2-level advantage for Team Dynouh. They're now moving in with Cassia still gone and try to take both of the altars at the top. As I say, usually the horizontal double spawn is mega boring because it's just an exchange in altars. This time, though, the red team has a realistic chance of actually grabbing this one. We have Cassia at the bottom of the map dealing with Brightwing, trying to prevent those pumpkins from moving in, and for good reason. The core is already down to 22 points. So if now the pumpkins make it through or the top left gets channeled, we're talking about below 20 points on the core. And they're trying to get that isolation here. And of course you better be careful because Benny is gonna look for these hooks. He hits one, gets Scourge, and forces them into a fight. Here's the play for Hanzo, and with the poly from Brightwing, they get the kill, and they follow it up with the second one against Hogger. That's 2 heroes taken down, 13 kills overall, and the channel from Dynouh. Another 5 shots fired. The core is gonna go down to 17 points with this, and boy, oh boy, is Team Disciple in trouble. They're getting murdered. They're getting absolutely murdered here. And, well, I'm not quite sure if you knew, but apparently the Nexus, they went full on... careful. Alright, so they get another camp over here. Yeah, the Nexus went full defund the police, so there's nobody to lock up the culprits. Team Dynouh is doing whatever they can. They're getting away with murder here, with one crime after another, and there's nobody to stop them. The Blues over here on the left, they are just suffering. They lose their bell tower at the top. Now the middle is being attacked. And guys, if they take the middle bell tower, the barrage is starting and we could be in for a very quick game. There's also still a boss up on the map that you couldn't go for. Level 16 talents on already. They have level 16 talents before the opponent is level 13. They're 2 talents ahead right now. Look at this. 2 talents ahead. It is crazy. And yes, the attack on the bell tower in the middle is of course happening. Maybe now they get a kill. Finally, they blow up the chicken and the birdie is gone. It was about time. There's finally a kill for Team Disciple. I mean, damn. Can they get more? It looks like they can. Alright, Team Disciple is alive after all. They take Brightwing down. Diablo is still alive and kicking. And, well, can they save the rest of the team? It seems like they can. But damn, that took them ages. 10 minutes, and finally we have a few kills for them. So, are they going to be able to pull off the comeback now? Benny still guarding that bell tower, and obviously trying to stay alive in the process. And so far he's doing okay. We still have another hook coming out. Benny, Brightwing is back in 12 seconds. Falstad can fly in just a moment. But Cassia gets destroyed. The battle for the altar at the bottom of the map, and Cassia gets taken out. They go for the channel. That's 6 shots fired. We are down to 11 points on Team Disciple's score. They wanted a little bit too much. They wanted the split on Diablo and the bell tower and the altar. Now Diablo is dead. Malfurion dies too. What on earth is happening here? Seriously, another Gorge. The arrow is missing. Hanzo is about to go down. I mean, at this point, it's just game. Falstad takes the bell tower in the middle. Now they go for Hogger. The barrage has started. Absolutely insane. It's a bit of a speed run here on Towers of Doom by Team Dynouh. 18 kills to 2, and the shots are being fired. They're down to single digits already. Nagrom is committing honorable Sudoku, and I don't really blame him. This game is obviously over. There's pumpkins that they can go for, triple altar phase that is coming up. There's also still the boss that they can make a play for as well. It's absolutely ridiculous what's going on there. Absolutely crazy. What a performance from Team Dynouh in game number 4. And guys, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but after a 2-0 lead for Team Disciple, Team Dynouh is actually pulling it off. I mean, they've obviously given up here. They know they can't salvage this anymore. This is game. We're going to game number 5. Team Dynouh has a chance at a full reverse sweep here in the winner bracket final. Absolutely crazy performance by them. Team Disciple, after a 2-0 victory, has to now fight it out on the final map of this best of 5. GG.
Well, here we are. It's actually happening. The final map. We're going down to the 5th map of the series. Thanks to Team Dynouh. Just going for a massive comeback. On the left in blue, Team Disciple, after initial 2-0 lead in this series, they are now down to the final map, and they might actually lose the entire series here. So if they lose now on Tomb of the Spider Queen, they drop down into the losers bracket. Disciple on Hanzo, Ubi on Blaze, we got Morenas on Greymane, Scorch with Anduin, and Garrosh played by Nagrom. As Dynouh busts out his Creed of the Hunter Vala. The red team with Captain Rex on Malfurion. We got Cure on Falstad, Copenhagen on Dehaka, and with Ardent Restoration as the level 1 talent, Bad Benny with Tyrael. So looks like we might see Judgment from them. But yeah, this is gonna get pretty wild. Can Team Disciple put the final nail in the coffin and win this series after they started so well into it? Or are we gonna get the full reverse sweep from Team Dynouh as they take down their opponents on the 5th map? And Dynouh already with some really nice auto attacks here. Needs to be very careful of Greymane, obviously, as all of this continues. And of course, Garrosh too. But that's 11 stacks already. Gets a few more. Disciple. Oh, and it's a kill! No! Every single time that the red team got first blood, they've won the map so far. And they're starting into game number 5 with another kill. Early on, they take out Disciple. And very nice stacks for Vala as well. So Dynouh, mechanically, of course, top level, top notch. If he can continue that pattern here, that would be amazing for them. Absolutely amazing. So now, Copenhagen, also gonna get attacked here. Yeah, Cure. Oh, that tongue. Yeah, barely missing. Vala is now moving down to the bottom of the map with the rest of the team. They're all committing to this. They're all fighting this one out. And Malfurion goes down, but Greymane gets punished. Dehaka is also dead though, so it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the blue team. Make it 3. Vala dead, and much better start now for Team Disciple. Yeah, this one way better for them here. So that one was pretty awesome. That was exactly what they needed, to be honest with you. So, job well done. They are able to take out Vala and therefore remove some of the attack speed bonus. They get the Siege Giants. They get the superior kill numbers. Considering how the last 2 maps went, this is a much better start for them right now. Especially if you consider that it all started again with them losing one of their heroes. Dynouh's now trying to make up for that death by adding additional stacks in. The wall at the bottom of the map already destroyed. But there's obviously also a difference in gems now with the kills that we saw. It's not a massive one, but we're still talking roughly 10 gems that overall were lost for Team Dynouh. So, yeah, here we go. Team Disciple with Greymane in the middle against Tyrael. They have their camp too, so they could try and take some of the structures out.
if with the camp they can allow Greymane to go in Worgen form onto those structures, as he does right now, he can chunk it down very, very quickly. So that's exactly what we're seeing from them. Falstad, yeah, Cure needs to be very careful here. Quickly attacked. And it kind of feels a little bit like they found a hero for Cure. We had a lot of games where Cure nearly exclusively played Thrall, and now he is just sitting on Falstad game after game after game. And keep in mind, whenever they had Falstad so far, they were able to win. So 2 picks on Falstad, and they were able to win twice. Same for Brightwing. 2 Brightwing games, and they were able to decide both of those in their favor. Now, to be fair, this time they do not have Brightwing, but they still have Falstad, so maybe it's their lucky pick for Cure that allows them to get kills here. Mubi at the bottom of the map, talking about maybe being a little bit unlucky. He gets ganged up on, gets a stun out, but also allows Vala to land more order attacks and get the first quest reward. Blue team is diligently turning in their gems, by the way. They are sitting at 38 that got turned in, and they want to complete the first objective with Disciple, and they're going to be able to do that. So, blue team gets the first set of Web Weavers right there. We have the chance to maybe even take a fort out, specifically at the bottom of the map, of course, considering that down there the wall has already been destroyed earlier, and well, as I say, they're doing the same thing in the middle. So they're taking the wall out too. The forts will definitely suffer some damage, I mean, for sure. So it is the blue team that is currently setting the agenda here. They're making the plays, they're making the moves. We just have to check how far they can go with it. Already, the attacks are coming at the bottom, and this might even destroy the fort here super quickly. I mean, we have Hanzo and Blaze here. The Haka alone can't do anything about it. Cure is coming in to help him out. Greymane is sitting at the top, so over here, they're still trying with Worgen form to take the wall out. Benny, 24 gems, needs to be mega cautious and has to move back. But the fort at the bottom of the map is already destroyed. So that's one structure gone. And that in and of itself is already a win. So even if this is the only thing that they're accomplishing here, then, yeah. But, that's said and done. They go for Benny! Oh, and he's dead! Benny and Vala are both dead! Both of them gone, and boy, that's bad news. Now, the gems were collected. The gems were at least recovered, but Vala has now lost 10% of her attack speed bonus, and that is just rough. Now, the one thing that I still have to point out, they don't have a hyper carry setup. Meaning Vala is not the only range damage that they got Falstad too. So when you play a lineup like this where Vala doesn't have a second healer or maybe Medivh in addition to the healer next to her or triple front line, that usually means that if you die a couple of times, it's not the worst thing to happen to you. You obviously want to avoid it, but if you can compensate with decent stacks, then you're totally fine here. And yeah, they can definitely still salvage that situation, but let's be honest. Team Disciple is having a much, much better start into game number 5. They were struggling. They really struggled. I mean, the last 2 games, the last 2 maps, both went to Team Dynouh and allowed them to force game number 5. But at least right now, we are getting another glimpse at the Team Disciple that won map number 1 and 2. Level 10 will soon be ready for the blue team. They're trying to go for Ubi here. Vala gets attacked again, but with Benny rotating in from the top, they're letting that slide. It still doesn't change the fact that the blue team now got themselves a boss at the top lane and is already starting to move in with it through that topside fort. We're also having, yeah, still a bit of aggression down at the bottom of the map, but the red team has now gotten their own web weavers. So they can try and bring this back a bit. They are a little bit more than a level behind, but it's even talents, so it doesn't matter too much. That boss, though, is doing damage, and it's going to cost them another fort. So 2 forts are going to be down here. The web weavers are going to help with the defense, but they have to get something out of this, right? That boss is going to be taken out by the towers eventually. You don't have to defend it too massively. Falster can also still fly to the lanes if he has to, but they need to pull something off with their own objective. They at least need to get some map control back. That's one of the things that he is going to try and accomplish right now. Blaze is still defending at the bottom of the map. Falstad is escorting it through at the top. Thus far, not too much has been done here by Team Dynouh. You need to make hay when the sun shines, and currently it is cloudy as hell for the red team. Yeah, they are not getting anything. They're getting maybe the wall at the top. Wall at the top is probably going to be the maximum, unless there's going to be a few kills here, but I don't think so. Tyrael and Sanctification, so unfortunately we didn't get any judgment. Nice Gust, avoiding the Light Bomb connect, but Dehaka, yeah, and guys, they're actually getting a fort. They're getting a fort with the way that the fight was centered around the bottom of the fort and nobody really defended. The fort at the top is out, and now Garrosh has been killed too. Falstad didn't make it either. He got taken out by Greymane, but that's Morenas about to fall with 24 gems. Ubi is picking them all up, has now 48, gets licked. Ah, but the root didn't connect. That would have been an absolute nightmare. Just imagine for a second if they would have been able to get those kills and then take the gems away from them. Whew. That would have sucked for the blue team. But as is, we still have a turn-in opportunity for Team Disciple. Team Dynouh doesn't quite have the gems, but they still have enough that it is absolutely worth it for them to turn in what they are holding. Dehaka is moving past the turning point though with the 10 that he has. We got level 13 talents now. Vala with 2 rewards on level 1 thanks to the 100 stacks that she now has. The damage output so far, we're looking at 23,000 for Vala, but it's really Hanzo with the 31,000 that is holding the top card here. 23,000 for Greymane. And here comes level 30 now for the red team, which also gives us Tempered by Discipline for Vala. So a little bit more self-sustain that we're getting in these team fights from her. Cure not being fooled here. Not caught by Garrosh. Still totally fine. But both teams now with a chance at another turn-in. And the red team is getting a bit more of a presence around these turn-in spots. Greymane and Morenas gets out here. Still half a level of an advantage for Team Disciple, but this fight could decide a lot. 81 gems in the hands of Team Disciple. But who turns in? 34 gems have been delivered by the red team. We got 15 on Copenhagen. Not enough to complete the turn-in. Also a very optimistic attempt here. But they force them to react. And they get the lick on Hanzo. He moves out. And with Anduin appearing, he's going to be fine. But it is getting dicey here. I mean, seriously. Mega intense. Arrow is out, and once the cooldown is ready, a quick pull from Anduin makes sure that Hanzo is still fine. But the turn-in does not happen at the top. Blue team is getting their web weavers. What about Garrosh though? Yeah, he makes it. And then jet propulsion. Can they turn it? Can they get a kill? And the answer is no, but they got close. Malfurion also using his ult to ensure that everybody is still alive here. So the blue team with the next objective. They are still... I mean, again, they are had an experience and they have taken out 2 forts. If they can now build on that, they will pull even further ahead on this. So, right now, at the bottom of the map, we have Blaze moving on for Dehaka. Mid lane is where they are fiercely defending. Team Dynouh. That's the only lane where they still have a fort. But they also have to be a bit cautious with those side lanes, especially, of course, at the top. As now Hanzo is pushing this out further. You don't want to lose hit points on the keep if you can avoid it. But it's the battle for the mid lane. And it's a full... Yes, nice Gust. Very nice Gust. Creates a bit more space. Allows them to take out the Web Weaver. But they have to send somebody up towards the top because this is just too much. It is way too much. Somebody has to deal with it. And Falstad seems to be the one to go for it. 16 talents are now also available. More than a level lead for Team Disciple. So that advantage is fantastic. And they are willing to force a fight very easily with this. So they go for the fort. They take it out. Lord of his pack on level 16 now for Greymane. And also, the interesting part, of course, is that we are now looking at Team Dynouh again playing a bit more defensive as they're trying to catch up in experience. It's all about the grand final now. Who advances through the winner bracket? That's the big question here. And currently, Team Disciple has the better position. They have taken all the forts out, they still hold 2, and they have a lead in experience. The good news for Team Dynouh is they haven't lost any of their gems in the last fight. They're down in kills, but they haven't lost anybody, and now they can turn in. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Cure gets interrupted. Oh my god, and dodges out on Nagrom trying to approach him here. It's a little bit more tricky for them to now turn in, of course. They don't have any fountains in the middle of the map anymore, which makes things difficult. But Vala with level 16 has also now Manticore, which of course vibes very, very well and is going to apply more pressure to the front line. You have not only that extra damage through your level 1 stacks, but in addition, you are still looking at 15% increased attack speed, which is pretty nice. Yeah, Ubi gets a turn in. It's actually kind of nuts. They could go for a third turn in before Team Dynouh gets theirs. They're close. They're very, very close. One more gem that they have to take on the lane, and they technically have enough to get the turn in. And well, here we are. So now it's another battle for Web Weavers. Cure wants to turn in. Can't quite make it work. Here comes the Haka with the lick, and he has to let it go. Anduin still ruining their day. Went on level 16 as usual for Glyph of Faith. In an ideal world, the Haka would be the one to turn in. He has enough gems already. Benny with the Sanctification. They're zoning them as best as possible. Light Bomb, but yeah, communication that didn't really seem too great. Light Bomb on Garrosh, but no connect. Oh, careful where you move there, Copenhagen. It's another turn-in, isn't it? They're gonna get it. Disciple is going for the turn-in. This is another one. Third turn-in now for the blue team. Oh boy. Dynouh's team is in real trouble here. They could drop down into the losers bracket now. Not only do we get the Web Weavers, but we also get the camp. Now, red team has their own in the middle, so I guess those negate each other. Blaze and Anduin are the only ones that haven't died yet in this series. And, yeah. This one is going to be difficult. It's not only the fact that they have gotten the turn in, it's the fact that we're looking at a lead by 1 level at the 14-minute mark. And if you push this well, if you soak on multiple lanes, there is a chance that you're going to get very, very close to level 20. And then I'm not quite sure if Team Dynouh is going to be able to turn in anytime soon. They're defending at the top lane as quickly as they possibly can against the Web Weavers, which of course means that the mid lane is now being pushed aggressively by Team Disciple. But they've done a good job at least at the top. But there's also Catapult moving in, so that keep might take additional damage. Good Gust once again, with nice timing too. Arrow easily dodged out. Disciple wasn't able to connect it. And they lost hit points on the keep, but they're so far still holding on to all of their inner structures. Now they go potentially for Nagrom. Tyrael is dead. They get the counter kill. They trade kills at least with the opponent. Half a level before the blue team hits 20. But they have all their keeps. So you gotta give it to Team Dynouh. They're defending as best as they can. They're really digging in here. Still that level behind, and it's still that level 20 that will be problematic for them to deal with. But they should get turn-ins. Problem is just, if your opponent... This is the issue. If your opponent is level 20 already, what is that turn-in gonna do for you? Very little. You have to be super careful that you are not getting forced into a fight that you don't want to take. So, yeah, the defense for Team Disciple should be a fairly easy one, unless there's some kind of gank happening where they lose one of their heroes. Dynouh with 3 quest rewards now on level 1. Damage output solid 43,000. Hansa is 69,000. Nice. And here the level 20 talents. Fortified Bunker is now up. Sensor, Bullseye. Yeah, this is... Again, what are you actually going to get here? It's a 5 versus 5 with one team having level 20. Now, they are splitting on all lanes, so if they can get a few more minion waves, then maybe they can close this gap faster than expected. But you can already see at the bottom of the map that they are abandoning the Web Weaver push here. Falset is trying to get some XP. They get at least some control of the map back, but it's just not going to be enough to have a serious impact. The red team is already about to lose their keeps, and they have still not taken out the 2 remaining forts on the blue team side. So a little bit of damage up top. That's at least something. I mean, honestly, this is more than I expected here. And now we finally get level 20 talents for Team Dynouh too. That gives us Farflight Quiver. That's a big one for Vala, obviously. We're also getting Wind Tunnel. We're getting Serenities. Those are huge ults. Huge upgrades. And they still have enough gems for another turn-in. So they could get another turn-in here. And Nagrom has to be super, super careful. Now with Vala having Farflight Quiver and everything else that she can run, it's difficult. Great play by Tyrael to isolate Garrosh even further. And there's the full isolate on 3 heroes. That's a double kill. Vala gets 2. They're getting 3. Benny with a massive holy ground play. Check that out again. That one was amazing. So he gets the first holy ground, then he isolates them again, and they're all in that corner. Greymane, Anduin, and Garrosh all die, and all of a sudden, the keep at the top is open. Guys, they could go for the core here. They could actually go for the core right now. They're down for another 30 seconds. Huge play from Tyrael, and then Vala with a big damage, and now we're looking at that 5-man just trying to end the game. It's a reverse sweep. They're actually pulling it off. Team Dynouh with a reverse sweep in the winner bracket final. Game number 5. It's one big team fight that they needed. They get 3 kills and they exploit the situation at the top, go for the core and turn it around. The red team wins 3 maps in a row, takes down Team Disciple, who drops down into the losers bracket. What a comeback. GG and well played.